And we're live. Hello, everyone. My name is Andy Green with Green Group Real Estate, and I am joined, as always, by Annie Ransom with All Pacific Mortgage. We are so excited to be with you today.
So excited.
So excited. I'm just a bundle of energy. So thank you for joining us. We are going to be talking about the top 5 things that we've learned going through the past 60 days. And let me tell you, it has been a wild ride. Annie?
Yes, it has. Woo! And it still is a wild ride, right?
It still is. Yep, we're still in the midst of it, and we have learned a lot over the past 60 days. I don't know about you, but I've learned a whole heck of a lot, not only about us as a nation and as people, the real estate market, how we're adjusting, how we're changing. And that's what we do. We're in the real estate business. So it's our goal to bring you news that you can use so that you can make smart choices both today and as we move forward through these crazy turbulent times. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. The 5 lessons that we've learned. And what are those? That this recession will be unlike any that we've ever seen before. It will be deep and not long. So we'll talk about that. Number 2 is we're going to be going into the Portland real estate market has bounced back extremely fast. We're going to be talking about mortgage rates, the mortgage market. There is just crazy things happening right now that you really need to pay attention to and prepare for, so that if you're thinking about making a move in 2020, that you're completely prepared, because it's going to be different than anything that you've probably run up against in the past. The shift in tech, how it's changed the way that we do business. And number 5 is the housing market is going to lead us through this time. It's not going to be the cause of the recession that we're in. So we're gonna dive into and look at that. So should we get going, Annie?
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let me get my slideshow up. And you know what? I'm gonna say something here. There are gonna be no tech issues today. No tech issues. I really dialed this sucker in. We're gonna be looking good and sitting pretty here.
Love
so there
it.
we go. Let's present and back it up. Let's back it up. Okay, let's present. Come on, baby.
Da, 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 da.
There we go. There we go. And we're going to back up here to the very beginning, because that's what we do. We start in the very beginning, and that's what we're going to talk about. So already gone through there, through those. There's Annie. There's Andy. And let's dive in. So this recession is going to be unlike any that we've seen in the past, because this is a government-forced recession. When the government shut down all industry, all business, obviously the depth of the challenges that we're going to face are astronomical, unlike anything we've ever seen. Yeah?
Yeah.
So when you contrast that with some of the past recessions that we've gone through, you look at this chart here, and Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, these are their projections. You see just the steep declines that we're going through right now. We're probably about right here. We're getting hopefully down towards the bottom of these, and then you're going to see a sharp correction. So very deep, and then less length, as you can see right here. So comparing that to the Great Recession of 2006, you can see on this yellow line here, it was more gradual. It crashed, and then it continued crashing over a couple of years. And then the recovery was 9 years long. Annie, do you think that we're going to have a 9-year recovery here?
No, I sure don't, thankfully.
I do not either. Why do you think that, though?
Well, I think that there's a lot of factors that go into it, but I guess I don't know how to answer that question entirely, but I just think because it's much different than what we've experienced before. We have a lot of government assistance right out of the gate, and we're getting ready to open our economy back up here pretty quickly. Kate Brown, at least in the state of Oregon, has made some pretty decent promises to people on when we're going to see things opening back up. So we'll see a quick rebound like you can see on this chart, but I'm sure you might have some good things to add too.
Yeah, well, as we've talked about in the past, we're also coming into this especially with Noah last week, we talked about the health of the market and the job market. So the real estate market and the job market going into this recession, we were in such a freaking good place. Like we were on a roll.
Right.
We were on a roll. So I think that bodes well for when we hit the bottom, wherever that is, and fingers crossed it's coming up here pretty darn soon, that when things start to open back up and people are going to get jobs very quickly. Are all jobs going to come back into the market? Very unlikely. So that's probably where you're going to see this sharp spike. Like a lot of those people are going to get jobs again. And the people that haven't, it's going to prolong the length of this recession by maybe about another year. So a lot of those people are going to get their jobs back through the remainder of 2020. And then it's going to take everybody else a year to kind of get back on track and figure out what their next step is.
Well, right? And like you said, it's the government, because this was a government initiative. It's not like our economy was struggling previous to this. Right. Like we saw.
We were hot.
Right. So, I mean, I think the recovery is going to be a lot quicker just because we weren't in a poor economic position prior to this.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah. So what does that mean for the local real estate market? So let's dive into some of these numbers. So Q1 2020, which we just got through, we're in Q2, new listings have held steady. So they're about the same compared to March of 2019. So if we can hold new listings steady, that's a good thing considering everything that we've gone through. All of these stats are according to the Portland Metro Association of Realtors. I can't talk. So these are real numbers. So new listings are holding steady. Pending sales increased 1.1%. Again, that plays in our favor. That is a good thing. About staying steady there as well for pending sales, a little bit up. And then we move on to closed sales, increased. Closed sales in the first quarter of 2020 increased over 2019 by over 10%. Decent. I'll take 10%.
Yeah.
Considering that a lot of people think that we're probably in a housing crisis and like everything's going to hell in a handbasket and the sky is falling.
Right.
The sky is not falling. 10% increased in closed sales the first quarter of the year. Average sales price increased 4.1%. That's kind of what I was expecting, to be honest with you. If you look back at some of the videos I shot at the end of last year, projecting what was going to happen in 2020, I'm pretty sure I projected about a 4% increase in home values. Over the next quarter, could we see that change a little bit? Of course. And what I'm going to talk about here in a minute and what we're going to go through in the rest of this presentation, I think you're going to see that this is kind of what we're going to see. About a 4% increase in the average sales price. So your equity, what that means is your equity, which we've got a lot of it, we're going to look at that, is okay. Your equity is okay. Inventory is down. It was at 2.2 months of supply in 2019. We are now at 1.8. 1.8. So inventory is down. Days on market is also down from 68 to 61 days on market. Wow. So those two kind of go hand in hand. The less supply in the market, probably, I mean, there are just less options for home buyers. And there are a lot of buyers, as we know, in the home buying market right now. So homes are going to sell a little bit faster. And I would bet that we're going to continue to see that go down if inventory levels continue to stay as low as they are right now. So the bottom line, let's talk about the bottom line. Sellers have a strong competitive advantage, especially when properly prepared for sale and properly priced. There are some homes that are still just sitting on the market. Every 30 days, sellers and agents are evaluating those prices and competition, seeing what's happening and having to adjust prices. So there are price adjustments happening in the market, but the best homes that they're working hard to get their home ready for market, they're prepping it, they're priced right, they are selling fast. Multiple offers, which that's the next thing. Buyers are active in the market and need to be pre-approved, obviously, and write competitive offers. I think that we're going to talk about this next. So Annie, Are you ready? You ready for this? Okay, we're going to talk about that. And we are seeing a lot of multiple offers right now. Probably about, I'm not going to give you an exact number, but it's about 60%. I would say 60% of our listings that hit the market are getting multiple offers and selling over asking price. So a good number, right? Okay, Annie, we are going to, one more thing. Never mind. Hold on, Annie. Hold on.
Holding.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So the market is struggling with a large housing undersupply. As we just saw, the number of homes for sale are poised to reach historically low levels. We are in historic times, and there are fewer sellers that are putting their homes on the market. So the ones that do are at a strategic advantage, and with home prices staying steady, good thing. And that's according to George Radowy, probably that one, senior economist at realtor.com. So I don't know George, but I'm assuming he's a damn smart guy. Okay, so going not that way, we're going to go this way. Oh, buyer's market versus seller's market. We just went over that. You can see where we're at. Neutral market, 6 to 7 months, is probably closer to 4 to 5 months, in my opinion. But it just shows that you can see how it compares in past years, the month's inventory. So this was the tough times. You and I remember those times. 2008, 2010, I remember some neighborhoods in some areas were at 20 plus month supply of inventory. So homes were taking forever, friends. Not the case here. Today, we are way down here in the green. So let's move on. Oh my gosh, Annie, I am just crushing you here.
That's all good.
I built you all up, and look at this. I have one more. I think I threw in some extra slides. So recession does not equal housing crisis. Talked about that. You can see the home appreciation in past recessions. And the big one was 2008 because the housing market was the cause. And so supply was just off the charts, as we just saw, and it affected home values dramatically. We are not there. We are not there, friends. Everybody's projecting that home sales are going to grow across the board. You can see that. National Association of Realtors, Mortgage Bankers Association, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, everybody has positive growth on their books. So, Annie,
I'm on.
Now is your time.
Right.
Let's go.
Those are all really positive pieces of information on what's happening in real estate. The trick is going to be how available is credit for people to obtain in order to purchase real estate or utilize these low interest rates for refinancing. And so from this chart, you can see the availability of credit, and we have experienced a very, very steep decline. What this indicates is that it hasn't been required to get a mortgage in over 5 years, right? So we experienced this coming out of the housing crisis previous, and investors learned a big lesson from that before. So we've got big unemployment numbers. We've got folks that are going into forbearance, and that's really meaningful to these investors that are putting, themselves out on the line in order to extend financing. So they're looking for top-notch borrowers right now. The biggest factors are going to be solid credit, good, stable jobs. So if you're on furlough right now, unfortunately, it's really difficult to get a loan. Yeah, and so these banks really want to see that people can demonstrate the ability to pay these loans, and so they are restricting mortgages. They're asking for more documentation. So what's really important for people to know is that there is a game plan in place, making sure that you understand what it's going to take and preparing yourself accordingly so that you can dig into the market and be successful. Now, we've talked in previous weeks about what's happening with interest rates. So the Fed has been buying up mortgage-backed securities in order to keep these interest rates very stable and at low levels so people could take advantage of refinances and continuing to purchase real estate. Well, the Fed has recently announced that they are going to stop mortgage-backed securities. Typically, that would cause interest rates to increase. It's still so new as to how we think the economy is going to stabilize once people start going back to work. So we'll continue talking about that. But there could very well be some adjustments to these interest rates based on the Fed's involvement.
Okay.
The next few days will be really important on what happens in the market and how the market reacts to the Fed making this decision. So definitely keep up on headlines and get a good understanding of where things are trending and what it means for you. If you've been considering refinancing and you're just kind of hanging out because you think that interest rates are going to go lower, I would advise you against that. Get that interest rate locked while you can and secure your savings. And I think that we'll continue to see how these investors view these forbearances. Now we've got over 7% of the loans right now are in mortgage forbearance. That accounts for 4.1 million homeowners and billions of dollars. So of course, these forbearances are certainly going to have an impact on how the mortgage industry reacts to the crisis that we are in. And at least for the short time until we know that the economy is rebounded and these unemployment numbers drop and folks get out of forbearance before they start to lighten how available credit is to folks. So it'll be a little bit of a ride, but I think that there's some really positive information on what's happening in the real estate market. We don't anticipate that those values are going to decline. In fact, we should see them increase. But a huge part of that is making sure that people are viable candidates to obtain financing. And so now more than ever, it's important to understand that the days of conventional financing and what was acceptable, things that you hear on the news, things that you read in an article, you've got to work with professionals so that they can tell you exactly what's happening right now and what's on the forefront so that you're protected and you can keep that investment rolling forward.
Always and forever, who you work with absolutely makes a difference, because we all know that there are a lot of mortgage loan officers out there. There are a lot of real estate agents. Not everyone's created equal. Not everyone has the same experience, expertise, track record, and happy clients in the end. So who you work with today crucially matters in order to help you put together that game plan. So totally agree. Real quick though, Annie, we have a question from somebody. From a viewer. And so if you have a question, please leave us a question. We'd love to answer it here live. We'll answer, as many questions as you throw out at us. And if you're watching the replay of this, then just leave us a comment and we'll go back and we'll take a look at those and make sure that we answer your question. So let's look at this here real quick. See what she's got. Whoops, wrong one. Okay, gone. Okay, so now we are going to go to the comment section and we're going to show this. So awesome. Jill asks, Q1, well, first of all, she says, Q1 didn't look that bad. However, what has happened since April 1? Any comments on early Q2? Yes, absolutely. I will answer that. Over the past week to 2 weeks, I have seen an extreme jump in the activity in the market. It's not that we're seeing this huge influx of homes that are hitting the market or the metrics that we just went through are changing dramatically. I think they're inching up. Everything is getting a little bit better. But just from what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing and the people that I'm talking to last week, we saw consumers and everybody start to increase their activity level and things are starting to loosen up a little bit. And with that, I believe that there have been a lot of buyers and sellers that have been sitting on the sideline for the past 60 days, just waiting. They've been waiting to see what happens throughout this crisis. And those people are starting to pick up the phone. They're calling me and they're saying, Andy, what's happening in the local market? I'm like, dude, aren't you watching my live streams? Just joking. I don't say that to them. I tell them what's going on in the market and they're like, I think we're ready. So, just consumer sentiment is getting a little bit better and we'll see how the numbers turn out. But I believe that they're going to start to rebound a little bit faster than we saw, because if you go back 2 months ago, we had about a 2-week lag where people were just trying to figure everything out, and a good number of homes came off the market, and closings had dropped a little bit, pending sales dropped a little bit, listings dropped a little bit. But after about 30 days, we saw them jump back up. So Going into Q2, I'm feeling really good. I seriously, I said this last week. I am an eternal optimist. My glass is always half full, and just what I know, and I pay close attention to all this stuff. Like we're gonna have a great second half of the year. It's Q2 is gonna be good. Q3 I think is gonna be awesome. Q4 and probably good to awesome, somewhere in the middle. So good question. Thank you, Jill, for tuning in and for asking that question. So let's hide that. Let's move back and let's go into. Okay, let's not do that. Next one is the shift in tech integration changed. It just completely changed the way that we all do business right now. Annie, would you agree with that?
Absolutely, more than ever. And for us, I think in a good way, the way that our businesses are structured.
Yep, I would totally agree.
Right?
I think we're going to see some efficiencies come out of this. I think our time is going to be saved. Consumers' time is going to be saved. I think the integration or the absorption, what's the word that I'm looking for? Everybody's going to be using Zoom more. They're going to be using a video type software to have some of these meetings, especially over the next 12 months or basically until we find a cure for coronavirus, right? So we're going to see more of that. And I think that is going to last forever. This is a face-to-face, belly-to-belly business. And I think that relationships really are created, fostered, and formed around the kitchen table, and getting to know people and their dreams and their hopes and where they want to go and why is that important to them, all of that stuff. So I don't see that portion changing, at least for us. I think there will be some agents that are like, I'm going tech all the way because maybe they don't like people as much. I don't know. But there is a place for technology, and it's going to create efficiencies in the way that we do business. I also think that on a macro scale with some of the bigger businesses, I think it's really going to change the landscape. So let's look at just real quick. We're going to go through is how have things changed. So we're meeting with people virtually, Zoom, live streams like we're doing right now. We're using our iPhones, whatever that thing's called. Choosing your favorite homes, the number of 360 tours and video tours, at least in our business, we upped that immediately. Mm-hmm. Had some stuff to work through and figure out, but I think that we've got it pretty well dialed in now. It's going really well. It's helping consumers not have to get in their car and like whittle through all of the properties. They can do it more from their couch and their pajamas, eating popcorn and bonbons. Is that what you do? Is that what you do, Annie?
I mean, doesn't everybody?
Everybody does. I do it. Seriously. I have my, pink elephant slippers on. They're real poofy. They're so comfy. I love them. And my Snuggie. But you're able to search for this stuff from home and work by the process of elimination, which always has been the case for consumers looking for real estate. But I think you're going to be able to do more of it online, which I think is a good thing. So you're not gonna have to look at as many homes. You're not gonna have to drive around as much. Good. So tour virtually, went through that. Sign online. We've always had DocuSign. That's kind of been a no-brainer. Most people have adopted that, accepted it, and we are all on the same page there. Becoming pre-approved. Like, just walk us real quickly through that process. Has it changed at all?
I mean, quite a bit. I mean, here at least we do quite a bit of face-to-face meeting, and of course that can't happen right now. So we've switched over to a Zoom platform and making sure that people have resources that they need, and it certainly has become a lot more efficient. But I do think that consumers overall, I'm a consumer, you're a consumer, right? We need human interaction. And so everybody's doing the best that they can right now in order to keep the needle moving forward. But I think, at least in the mortgage industry, I foresee sort of a hybrid between a lot of these online resources, but still a good mix of in-person contact, which I prefer. I like that. But this has just proven that we can function without it, at least. Yep. And certainly have made some changes along the way in order to help provide resources to people to keep it going.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, the next one is inspection. We'll more than likely kind of go back to business as normal with inspections, but right now a lot more video is being used. So will that continue? Yeah, I don't see it changing dramatically though. Finalize your closing. I think that this will create a shift in the way that consumers are able to sign documents. In the state of Oregon, maybe you can talk a little bit about this because I'm not an expert. I just know that I think it's most lenders do not allow e-signatures, but title companies do. So what's the deal with that?
Yeah, so in the state of Oregon, in other states it's a little bit different, but we're not entirely an e-sign state. We're working towards it. There's a few crucial documentation pieces of documents that need to be signed with a notary. Things like your deed, the note, and so on. But most lenders are doing hybrid e-closings. So a vast majority of the loan documents, most of the disclosure items can be done electronically, and then you still need to schedule time with an escrow officer, with a notary for those few crucial documents. But as we've talked about before, title companies, at least during this time, they're taking added precaution. In fact, I think one of the more safer places for people to be out in public right now is probably a title company.
Yeah.
Just because they are really limiting the traffic, they're sterilizing, they've got gloves and masks, and they're using single-use pens, all sorts of things in order to keep people as safe as possible while Oregon has those requirements in place.
Yep. Agreed. So that is finalizing your closing and then welcome home. I think maybe the way that we give people keys will change a little bit too. I don't know, but probably not the biggest deal. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, which is, if I can find it, mortgage interest rates, shift in tech. There we go. Here we go. The national housing market will lead us out of the recession and not be the cause of it. So let's go on to our next slide here. So number one, first and foremost, home equity is the bright spark in the housing market. If you look at the percentage of home equity right now, I believe it's 60 to 70. Yeah, 60% of all homes in America have at least 60% equity. So 177,000 is the average equity in mortgage homes. Let's see. Yes, somebody just said that we weren't live, but we are. I'm like, yeah, we're live. We're live. So home equity is at a place right now that, this is not going to be a housing crash. This recession is not caused by the housing industry. It is government forced. It is government forced. So home equity, we're looking super strong on. Unemployment rate forecast that, most of the experts are saying somewhere between 15 to 20% is kind of where we're landing. I'm going to give you my expert opinion on the unemployment rate right now, and I'm going to predict 16%.
Okay.
16.1. I'm going to go with 16.1. We'll see. So somewhere between 15 to 20% unemployment. As we talked about earlier, I believe we're going to see a sharp spike in job formation, and then a gradual run on everybody else getting back into the job market. So who's that according to? JP Morgan has the unemployment rate peaking at 20%, Merrill Lynch 15.6, Goldman Sachs 15, and Wells Fargo. So yeah, 16.1 is my number. I'm going with it. U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics weekly unemployment filings. You see it going down. We've seen that kind of week over week. We hit a peak at 6.9 million. These are in millions.
Yeah,
these are in millions, people.
Yeah.
And then it started to just slowly stagger down, 6.6, 5.2, et cetera, et cetera. And the estimate for last week, which maybe I think the numbers have come out now. I don't know what it is, but was about 2.5. What happened?
There you go.
So based on what we were seeing, Carlos Rodriguez, the CEO of Automatic Data Processing, ADP, big company, based on what we're seeing, it's possible that companies are already anticipating some kind of normalization, opening in certain states and starting to post jobs. I'm posting jobs.
I'm posting jobs.
We're posting jobs.
Posting
So
jobs.
I think there's something to this. I think he might be right. Carlos is onto something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really do think really as this next week, at least in the state of Oregon, you know, as people head back to work, the 15th, a lot of places, assuming that their counties have been approved, they're opening their doors. So that means people coming off furlough, people coming off of unemployment. You know, I really do think over the next couple of weeks, we'll get a good gauge on how this is truly impacting our economy. And hopefully we'll see some good positive numbers and start to see those numbers start to decline a bit more.
Every week is changing. And my hope is that the people that were furloughed, they were laid off, you know, that these companies do just go back to the people that they knew, like, and trusted, and are able to get some of those jobs back quickly and immediately.
Yeah.
So, follow us, friends. We are, as you know, we go live every week at 12:30 on Mondays. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Periscope, YouTube. Please follow us. All you have to do is go to Green Group Real Estate and you'd be able to find us. And next week, actually not next week, if you liked this video and you thought that you had some solid information that you got out of it, which that is ultimately our hope, go and watch our other video on what has happened. Actually, what our prediction is in the Portland real estate market. So where's the Portland real estate market heading? We did that one last week. We had Noah Blanton on with us. So all you have to do is, I think it's going to be over here, or it might be over there or over here. But that video, go back and watch it. It was jam-packed with awesome information about your local market. So any parting final words that you've got for us, Annie?
I'm so excited to see what next week brings, for sure. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready. I'm ready for stuff to open up, ready to see. Hopefully we can keep these numbers at bay so that we can continue to go through these phases. But super excited to share with you what happens in the coming weeks and how that impacts not just the real estate market, but our local economy. And hopefully we can continue to share some really positive, good momentum with you.
You know what I'm ready for?
What?
I'm ready for a haircut. I'm dead serious. Like, my hair, and nobody would know, people don't know, but like, this is as long as my hair's been, like, in years.
Yeah.
And every day I think about it, I'm like, I want to get I want to get my haircut. I want to get my haircut.
Yeah.
So not like you care about that. Not like it matters. Okay.
I mean, I'm ready for a haircut too, but
totally. So bottom line is the housing markets have and will continue to bounce back after a forced government disruption to business. If you're considering a move in 2020, we can help you put together a solid game plan to help you accomplish your real estate goals, all while remaining safe. Your safety is our top priority. So if we can ever be of help, we are absolutely 100% here to help. All you have to do is shoot us a DM. Here's all of our contact information here. And if now's not the right time, no problem. We are going to be around. I've been here for 21 years. 21 years in this business. I will be here next week, next month, next year, and for many years after. Okay. So stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. And we will see you again next week. When are they going to see us, Annie?
Monday at 12:30.
Monday at 12:30. So be good, and we'll see you then.
All right. Thanks, guys.